if I said, look, we're gonna have risk adjusted buckets, they're gonna guard against wealth loss. You're gonna get reasonable rates of return, and if you do this, we're gonna be in good shape, and you're going to have increased guaranteed income over your lifetime, with the potential of increasing income over your lifetime. How could you argue against that? And as we go through the planning checklist and like, well, if somebody gets sick, are we okay? If the economy goes down, are we going to be okay? If the stock market crashes, are we going to be okay? If somebody dies, we're going to be okay. And if we go through those things and try to do the best we can to fill in those check boxes, isn't that the right thing to do? Doesn't that make sense? It does make sense. And it's very hard to argue against that rational situation. Okay. So in preparing for the show, I found an article by kiplingers.com. It's real, it's a recent article, right? And we're putting it up on screen if you're watching the video portion of the show. The headline says, without increasing income, there is no retirement. Kind of makes sense based on what I was just reviewing. Without increasing income, there is no retirement. And this is kiplingers.com and their retirement planning section. And below that says your retirement security boils down to how much sustainable cash flow your retirement assets can safely and reliably produce. Makes sense, right? Cash flow is the lifeblood of financial security. Would you agree with that? Happiness and freedom. And if you run out of this or have it reduced, your world can be turned upside down. Just ask anybody that all of a sudden had their retirement income reduced. That's a reduced lifestyle. You got to give up on stuff. So, for example, kind of like what I was mentioning earlier in the show, the difference between homeless people and those who are not homeless to a large degree, financially speaking, is that usually a homeless person doesn't have enough cash flow to pay for housing than a person with a home does. I mean, that makes sense at the most basic level. So the decumulation solution, was kind of looked at by the research from the Stanford Center on Longevity. Stanford Center on Longevity. They looked at ways that investors can potentially assess and combine a mixture of investments and insurance products against different retirement income goals. They evaluated systematic withdrawal plans for investment portfolios and annuities against the following criteria. That is amount of income, access of savings, pre and post retirement protection, inflation protection, and lifetime guarantee. And one of the key findings from their research, remember this is Stanford, from their research was that from a purely financial perspective, that having an annuity in place often provides higher yearly income as compared to systematically withdrawing from investment assets.